Ladies and gentlemen, this next fight is three 3-minute rounds, a special exhibition bout in the Apfc Welterweight division. This fight is presented to us by Third Coast T-shirts. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. This man is a mixed martial artist making his mixed martial arts debut tonight. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall and weighing in at 171 pounds and fighting out of Front Royal, Virginia. Here is Josh "It's Hard" Miller. And his opponent standing across the cage, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist also making his mixed martial arts debut this evening. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall and weighed in at 170.6 pounds. Fighting out of Tybee Island, Georgia, here is Brock Seyden. And when the action begins, our referee in charge is Matthew Goodhart.
Debuts on both sides, Josh "Hits Hard" Miller and Brock Seyden. We'll say, I believe that invincible tattoo is from the Amazon TV series and the comic book. At least that seems to be the font and coloring, but who knows? We'll talk to him about it afterwards.
You know, I was never much of a comic book guy myself, so I'm gonna take you on that one.
David Evans, I don't think you can read.
You know what? I'm literate enough. Enough. I can read APFC across the canvas. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters indeed. Josh Miller really getting backed up here. Brock Seyden with a thunderous kick to the body, but Miller connects with the left hand.
Beautiful right kick there by Brock Seyden. You know, he didn't really force it, just kind of slid it in there right under his opponent's guard. He seems to be very comfortable keeping his range and maintaining his range and throwing those strikes.
Certainly seemingly highly technical through 30 seconds. The ring gentlemanship, though, I mean, more following than cutting potentially.
Very much so. He seems to have a very traditional, like, Muay Thai style, so to speak, and I mean, just very fluid in the way he throws those kicks and snaps that jab out there.
Another excellent high kick, Josh Miller.
And I really think he's just trying to time his opponent, because even though the kicks are snapping, he's not throwing them out there with a ton of force. Maybe trying to find his spot.
Josh Miller eats a couple shots on the way back up. Brock Seyden with a clinical destruction here in the first round. Excellent connections, but Josh "Hits Hard" Miller now coming forward.
Yeah, it just seems to be overwhelming Miller's computer so far, just with the amount of strikes he's throwing them and at the velocity that he's throwing them. And Miller seems to be a little taken aback, however, making an adjustment and just throwing that big hand out there, trying to get that knockout.
Sometimes you need to just bite the mouthpiece, as they would say, and get into the trenches.
Very much so.
90 seconds remain in round number one. Will say, in terms of living up to the nickname, oh, excellent connection by Seyden. But every time Josh Miller connects, you can see that there is some slight bruising on Brock Seyden. Seyden needs a left hook.
Very much so, committed to that left hand. However, Seyden answers back with a sneaky left hook.
Josh Miller absolutely wobbled here in round number one. 60 seconds remain. These guys have no intention of going the distance.
The thing about hitting hard, you're almost never the only one that hits hard. Now, can you take it? And Miller seems to be able to take the punch, you know, got rocked there, but still coming forward.
Not loving the body language of Josh Miller here. Final 50 seconds. Brock Seyden turning up the volume.
Seyden doing a great job, just feinting the hip, feinting the hands, doing everything, and every time he lands, snapping every strike.
Josh Miller moving really labored here. Excellent head kick by Brock Seyden.
Beautiful head kick there. Miller making the adjustment and just going in, getting that takedown. Let's see how Seyden is off of his back.
A lot of work going into the knee right here from Brock Seyden. What's the danger level, David?
I mean, right now, Seyden, he did everything that he needed to do. You know, got his feet on the hips, created space, and was able to get back to his feet, snapping the kick right back to the head of Miller.
How is Josh Miller still standing? Final 10 seconds in round number one. Brock Seyden is piecing him up, David.
Very much so, and just constantly coming forward more than anything. A lot of times, that'll take it out of you. You get hit, you defend, and when you see your opponent is still in front of your face, like that'll just drain the will out of an opponent.
What a striking performance from Brock Seyden here in round number one. David Evans, take me through these highlights.
I can do that because we for sure had a lot of them. Here we had Seyden, beautiful, sneaky inside kick that he threw there, taking his opponent off of his feet, then coming back, staying in his face, throwing the teep out there, throwing the strikes out there. Man, that was beautiful. That was like something you see in a movie, the way he threw that kick.
And the follow-up shots as Miller was getting back to the feet were really impactful. That's the knockdown, picture perfect.
Very much so, staying composed and staying in the position to strike even after he lands big strikes. That shows me that he has a very, very educated striking game.
If I'm Josh Miller, I got that takedown in round 1, I'd probably start shooting a bit earlier in round number 2.
Very much so. I'd throw that big left hand and then I'd follow it up with a shot every time.
Josh hits hard. Miller and Barack Seyden find themselves in round number 2. Miller has a little bit of catching up to do, David.
Very much so. I mean, we know he has the capacity to do damage with his power. However, he's been so one-dimensional in his approach, so he needs to switch it up and find another way to get to his opponent.
If you send a bomb into the ocean, it really doesn't do damage. It's all about placement and timing, like you said. Excellent
Beautiful
left right
hand.
there.
But he's telegraphing it at this point. I mean, he lands it, then he throws it and throws it and throws it again. We need to see more layers to his striking game if he's going to be successful with a seasoned striker such as Brock Seyden.
Brock Seyden just nonstop with all of the appendages, moving from the head to the body to the legs at will.
Beautiful hip feints, misdirection, sneak throwing the hands out there. You just almost don't know what angle he's going to strike from, Brock Seyden.
Gotta think the base of Josh Miller's hurting, but Air Seyden gets Brock to the ground.
Beautiful change levels double leg there by Miller. Now he's on top in a position to go to work and do some damage of his own.
Josh Miller really trying to lock up Brock Seyden here. Seyden going on a Kimura trap, but once again brought to the canvas.
Big slam there by Miller, man. I'm getting some shades of like a Rampage Jackson here from Miller. Just every time he gets in on his opponent, takes him off his feet. However, Seyden, beautiful sweep there with the Kimura. And now Seyden's on top.
90 seconds remain in round number 2. Here comes some Brock Seyden elbows. Josh Miller trying to lock up a sub, but nothing going.
Seyden throwing those elbows with the most ill intent I've seen, man.
Hits hard. Miller back is against the wall. Brock Seyden again goes to the legs. Got to think about where the base of Josh Miller is right now.
Man, it's just mentally right now he's taking everything, and the thing is his opponent can throw everything. I mean, elbows, kicks, hands, knees. What haven't we seen from Brock Seyden?
Josh Miller, like a flower left out in the sun too long, is starting to wilt, David.
Very much so. I mean, he's taking a lot of damage from every direction from Brock Seyden. And, I mean, another thing, we see Miller made the adjustment. He said, hey, I'm going to go to the takedown, which he is right now. But when you have someone like Seyden, who's not only a seasoned striker, but is good off his back, what is it to take him down?
Knees from Seyden. Josh Miller not liking it. Big connection on the separation. 30 seconds remain in round number 2.
Miller definitely wears his emotion on his sleeves, man. Every time he lands or strikes and take one, you can tell if he's on the good end or the bad end of it.
It's like a young Robbie Lawler.
Very much so.
Again, left misses right there for Miller.
He's got to set up that right hand.
Brock Seyden with an excellent connection. Final 10 seconds. Miller might be out on the feet.
And Seyden just marching forward, strike for strike. Beautiful.
These guys
right hand.
swinging right to the end of round number 2. Brock the Seyden almost. I mean, this guy loves violence.
Man, he's definitely been in there a time or two. Even if it's not, you know, organized, like he's been in there with some experienced strikers. I can tell just by the way he carries himself, the demeanor that he has, and the intelligence and layers that he has with the striking.
If you're Josh Miller, you're coming into round number 3. Let's take to some highlights first real quick, David Evans.
Here we have Miller making the adjustment, getting right to the double leg and the takedown, which I thought this was going to be a better round for him because of it. However, Seyden is like, hey, you want to take it to the mat? I'm good there. I can get up at least. That's all he needs to do with the level of striking that he has. Miller stayed attached to him, slammed him back down. However, Seyden made his adjustment, got to the Kimura, got to the sweep, got on top, and started landing elbows from hell here on top.
Absolutely vicious. There's that head kick.
The beautiful head kick, which he started off timing in the first round, and we started to see him landing it more and more as the fight goes on.
Josh hits hard. Miller also durable as you could possibly be. Brock Seyden on the other side of the coin has mixed it up beautifully. These guys don't really seem like they're wearing the cardio or stamina. I mean, it feels like they could go another 5 rounds.
Very much so, man. Just true grit by both of these guys.
Third and final round between Seyden and Miller. Josh hits hard. Miller certainly needs a finish.
Seyden staying comfortable in the middle there. I mean, at this point, how much he's dominated, it's Miller's turn to come to him, and I think he knows that at this point.
Time to make it dirty for hits hard Miller. You could see differentiating and mixing the takedown attempts to get close and wing those hooks. Smart adjustment.
Very much so. I mean, but Seyden doing a great job on his end, just going outside with the kick, going inside with the kick, going upstairs, going downstairs, just taking it everywhere with his striking.
An economical approach from Brock Seyden. Those leg kicks cannot feel good.
I expect to see him to throw more of those leg kicks, but then come up top with that rear head kick, which he landed a time or two here in this fight.
Brock Seyden evading these power shots here. His expression has not changed over the course of these 3 rounds. He is just dialed in right now.
Very much so. He's taking a lot of damage, but always looking to return and land some damage of his own.
Josh Miller eats another head kick right there. Tries to return his own. There's a left that connects.
Miller marching forward, just trying to close the distance as to not take any more strikes here from Seyden.
Miller is just unsuccessful at all ranges. Brock Seyden making him pay anywhere inside the octagon.
Very much so, man. I'm liking everything that I'm seeing from Seyden, man. He seems to be a very seasoned striker. His head kicks remind me of something you would see from like a Wonder Boy Thompson. Just the way he throws it is very fluid, and it takes very little effort with maximum damage.
If you're Brock Seyden, you're probably thinking to yourself, how do I get this guy out of here?
I mean, at this point, I'm thinking to myself, you know, how do you get someone like Seyden out of here? I mean, very young in his career, but seems to be very experienced. I just think he's a little too much to handle for Miller right now.
100%. Final 60 seconds remains. Josh Miller in on the takedown. Some Hail Mary shots from him right here. Brock Seyden defends, knees to the head. Absolutely brutal.
Seyden fighting from anywhere and everywhere, throwing the knees to the head off of the clinch from the transition, and defending the shots, feinting. What haven't we seen from Seyden? I mean, if he gets a takedown at some point in this fight, you can say he's had the complete fight. Like, he's done everything.
Would be the picture perfect debut. Massive connection from Seyden. Josh Miller still standing.
Miller not backing down an inch, however.
He is busted open. That is a lot of blood coming from the eyebrow of Josh. Hits hard Miller, and he's still firing back. Final
and
10
smiling seconds. In his opponent's face, man. That's nothing but heart there on the behalf of Miller.
What a display of striking success from Brock Seyden. You can see he lifts the arms there. Josh hits hard Miller, earns the respect of everybody at the Greater Richmond Convention Center. What a showing by these two debutants. I can't wait to see them back. Brock showing he's invincible. I mean, no holes in the game right there.
I mean, dude, that was one of the most comprehensive amateur fights that I've ever seen on behalf of Seyden. His striking prowess, his ability to get off of his back. He has the ability to truly fight anywhere and everywhere, and that's what you want to see in a young up-and-coming fighter.
Well, let's take a look at some of these highlights from their unbelievable affair. This final round, David Evans, take us through it.
Beautiful step-in elbow there by Seyden. I mean, we see him throw elbows from anywhere and everywhere, on top, on his feet. That was a beautiful, sneaky elbow over the top of the guard there by Miller.
Unblemished is Brock Seyden here in the APFC octagon. He was a force to be reckoned with, and Josh Miller stepped up to the plate, but simply was not enough. Man, that is some brutal damage.
Wow. I'm truly impressed, man. I saw some things that I liked from both fighters, but Seyden really seemed to separate himself here tonight.
We take it to Shane Graham to find out the winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a round of applause for these two warriors in this exhibition, APFC Welterweight Bout.
Great job by both gentlemen. Again, rules befitting the exhibition.
Sorry for my language, Paul.
No winner is announced. Brock apologizes for the language in the octagon.